what's your relationship as parents, as drivers, and if you are cyclists, as cyclists with Iris Avenue? Can I start?
Sure. As a parent, I don't love it. We are in this very small area north of Iris that our elementary school is on the south side of Iris, Columbine Elementary, and so ever since we've lived here, our kids have had to cross Iris every day to get to school in both directions. And I do love that there is a light where they can push a button and cross, but I think both because of the position of the light where it's not at an actual intersection, so it's a mid-block light, but it's very, very close to other streets, I think it confuses drivers. And we just have seen more than once cars just blow through it even though it's red, or try to beat it, and we'll see people with their really little ones, kindergartners, preschoolers, trying to cross, and of course, 4-year-old doesn't understand. They're like, oh, it's a green light, it's my turn. They don't understand the look. So it can be really nerve-wracking. Our son was hit by a truck crossing there at one point on a winter day, on a snowy winter day. So it's not my favorite as far as school goes.
And the road rebalancing, the conversion of 4 lanes to 2 through lanes and a center turn lane, how would that impact, you think, the experience of crossing at that mid-block crossing?
I think it would make it better just because of the psychology of how people drive. When the road is perceived as smaller, people drive more slowly, they drive more carefully. And so I think people would naturally slow down. Right now, it's a 35-mile-per-hour road, which means that most people are going 45 down it, and that's just, if it were nothing but a through street and people didn't need to cross it on foot and by bike, I guess that would be okay. But given that school kids have to cross it every day, 9 months out of the year, it's really too much.
For me, it's shifted from bike now because my kids are older and they're been scared enough that they're more hyper aware on bike, but now they're new drivers. And I won't call it a fight, but I've had an argument with my younger son, because what happens is you try to get out of the neighborhood, you're faced with trying to turn left. You should wait until all 4 lanes are clear, but you wait so long that you get in this psychology where you're like, I can turn into the closest lane left even though there's a car in the far lane, so I'm going to try to thread the needle of turning left into the closest lane. And my son did that and scared me.
We can bleep it.
Scared me, and that type of sort of confidence is something a young driver has but shouldn't have. And I find myself doing that as well, even though I shouldn't. I'm like, well, I've waited here for a minute or 2 or 3. I'm just going to turn into the one lane that's available to me next time someone comes by. And I actually had a friend tell me once, you pulled out and I thought you were going to hit me because you were turning into the closest lane. I'm like, oh, sorry. But you get impatient because it takes forever to get out of the neighborhood, and it's scary. And that's what worries me most with them now, because they've been biking since they were 2. And now they've both had enough near misses, or Max got hit out there, so they're very hyper aware, but they don't yet have that hyper awareness that comes with driving for a while. And so now it probably won't be done in time to save them from a mistake, but next kids it could.
Well, that's interesting, because our estimates at Community Cycles about the difference in time to actually complete these projects pretty different depending on which model or which alternative they choose. A and B, something like 3 to 5 years, and C and D, at least 20, at least 4 times as much.
3 to 5 years would help.
Yeah.
20, we're not going to probably be here in 20 because we'll downsize somewhere. but 3 to 5 should help for sure.